Hi everybody, welcome back to the Limit Breakdown, where we break down the latest in TV, movies, and everything going on in entertainment. I'm your host, Migs.
I'm Sid.
And today we're going to be doing our review of MCU's The Thunderbolts.
Asterix.
And our too long didn't watch review of The Thunderbolts is 4.5 Hearts. Now, we thought the cast and characters really meshed well together. They had great chemistry. Florence Pugh and David Harbour were standouts in the movie. They stole just about every scene that they were in. And it was refreshing to see an MCU movie climax that wasn't just a pointless CGI slugfest.
Now, I did feel that the climax was a little anticlimactic. It was a little too cheesy for my personal taste. And the action of the movie was a little bit lighter. Not saying the action sequences were bad, I wish there was more of it. And lastly, the villain, Valentina de Fontaine, her character was too mustache twirly villain, and like, here's my generic plan. That's the reason we gave it 4.5 hearts.
Alright, so stay tuned after the intro as we do our deep dive, spoiler-filled review of Thunderbolts.
Asterix. Welcome back to our review of Thunderbolts. And Migs, what did you think?
I really liked it.
Same.
I think it was a little bit more emotionally heavy than I'm accustomed to from MCU, and I was a little concerned as to how they were going to go about it, just because, you know, from trailers and spoilers and everything. We knew that the main antagonist was going to be Sentry. You know, he's basically Marvel's equivalent to Superman. So he is massively OP.
Yeah.
And then just looking at the cast of characters that they had, the roster, if you will, I'm just like, I don't see how they're gonna pull this off. But with them really leaning into Sentry's comic book origins, them implementing the Void as being his, like, you know, evil counter ego, and then using that as the basis, because one of the main things, it's like, it almost feels like they were the perfect team to face off against the Sentry, because they were almost as broken as he is.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things was they're a bunch of misfits. You know, they're all mercenaries coming together, and because they all have a darker past, and Sentry, being who Sentry is, also has a person has a darker past, they were able to connect to him a lot more than if it was like the goody two-shoes of the Avengers, right? Not saying that they don't have their own faults. And because of that, I think this was the perfect team to do that. And how they portrayed Sentry, I love the Sentry. I read some of his comic books. He was also in World War Hulk, and his character was fantastic. So I'm so glad they brought him to the movies, or brought him to MCU, and they did a fantastic job of portraying him.
So I really enjoyed Florence Pugh and David Harbour.
Yeah.
For me, Yelena has been a standout character since she first appeared. This felt very much like her movie. Like, you know, this
she was leading that movie.
Yeah. And I think she ran with it. I think it was fantastic. The opening scene with her little monologue while she had the one guy captured, that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah,
she's
that was
like, you know, she's a super spy, but she's still bored with everyday work. It's like, I clock in, I punch out.
Myself, yeah. And I love, one of the things that even Linda was talking about this, one of the things that I love about her is her sarcastic viewpoints on bad situations. Where something bad happens, she's like, oh no, we're all going to die. Or, you know, that is amazing.
Yelena feels to me like, do you remember the cartoon on MTV, Daria?
Oh my god!
It's Daria.
I forgot
it's
about Daria.
Went to the Red Room. That's Yelena.
Yeah, there was times where when they were trying to escape from the opening first, not opening, but when the team gets together, and she's like, all right, wait for my signal, and goes, you get the, and she's already gone. She's like, okay, well, we're gonna do this anyways. Cool, keep going.
I was a little disappointed at them killing Taskmaster so quickly.
I was not expecting that. So that is one complaint. I did not know they're gonna immediately end her in the first scene. Oh, here's Taskmaster, because her fight scene was amazing.
Yeah.
So when she was fighting Ghost, and Ghost is shooting bullets, she goes block, block, and then she bounces the shield. Ooh, that scene was amazing.
Yeah. And
then immediately just. And
the little bit of action, and I liked even the whole setup behind that, because she had Yelena going after Ghost.
Correct.
Right. She had
Ghost
Walker or U.S. Agent going after Yelena. She had Taskmaster going after Walker. And so it was almost like...
I think Ghost going after Taskmaster.
Yeah. And so it was almost like rock, paper, scissors. Like she was choosing who was better against each other.
And Bob.
It's
like, who are this? And Bob.
I love the general reaction of just like, everybody was like, who the hell are you?
Who's
Bob? Like, I'm Bob. Hi, I'm Bob.
So good. That was one of the best jokes that they put in there. It'd be like, oh, on this. And Bob. So who is Bob? Even when they introduced Bucky, he's like, Bob? And they're like, Bob. Oh my god.
Congressman Bucky. That was...
I'm not gonna lie, Bucky's character was weird in this. Not saying anything negative per se. It was just, he felt a little out of place throughout the whole movie. Like, I get that he's trying to be a congressman. He's not doing too well. And then he's like, I gotta go back to my roots of being, a soldier, basically. But it felt a little out of place. What do you think?
It's interesting. I wish there would have been a little bit more build up, I guess, in previous MCU projects, because it's kind of like we saw the one scene in Captain America 4 where he came and talked to Sam.
Oh yeah, okay,
and
okay.
Sam addressed him as Congressman Barnes, but before that we didn't even know this dude was living in New York, much less running for Congress, and so that kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. And if you haven't seen Captain America 4 or don't remember that scene, like, it could seem like it came out of left field. That being said, I do feel like I understood the struggle. He's trying to work within the system. But also trying to, like, quote unquote, do what it takes.
Yeah, kind of working from the inside. Yeah, I will say his final entrance when he comes on the motorcycle was so sick.
That is so badass.
It was such a sick scene. Like when Yelena shoots the gun, she goes, "What?" And then you just see him. Linda immediately was like, "Yep, motorcycles."
Dude, it gave me like Winter Terminator 2.
Oh yeah,
like when he ran up and snatched the shotgun and then flipped it. Yeah, I was like that.
And then
that almost felt
then he grabs the rope and just goes.
Boom! Yeah, no, that was so badass.
Oh man, yeah,
and it was funny too because they're seeing him and they're like, Bucky, and then
and immediately.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was a fantastic scene. That was pretty good. Speaking of the other Thunderbolts, the Thunderbolts.
I love that the origin, at least in this version, the origins of their name is from Yelena's Little League soccer team that never won a single game and had a girl poop on the field.
And then that was hilarious. It was very cute and how they got the name. And like I think, like you said, mentioned earlier, the chemistry of the characters was so well done because the whole time they're like at each other's throats, including the very end, but they're still like working together. It was beautiful how they put that together, especially with U.S. Agent. Excuse me, U.S. Agent. I was not expecting U.S. Agent one, to be in the movie, two, for him to portray the way he did. I thought the whole time he was gonna be like the guy who messes up, the guy, and then he has to be like the bad guy or something, but he actually worked with the team to be a good guy. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, like we were saying, the team chemistry was fantastic. They worked, they bounced really well off of each other in their dysfunction, even at the beginning. It's one of those, like, they were never supposed to be a team. And so the fact that they were, willing, but I mean, at the same time, they're all like very capable at what they do.
Yeah. I mean, there's 3 super soldiers in there, an assassin, or 2 assassins.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing.
Yeah. I did not see the twist at the end where Allegra de Fontaine tricks them to go through that one curtain, and then she introduces them as the new Avengers.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. When I saw I did. Not that I called it, but when it happened, when she goes through and there's a bunch of press, I was like, that's totally her, because you could see her brain turn.
Yeah.
Right. When she saw them working together, she's like, I have an idea, because she is very manipulative.
Yeah, well, it's opportunist. Yeah.
But then she said New Avengers. I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. I thought Yelena was gonna go up and be like, no, we're the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
The Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
But saying that they are the New Avengers is actually pretty crazy.
I mean, again,
crazy is the word
they needed it. Like, this is honestly, legitimately what the MCU needed. They needed a new Avengers.
They needed this movie.
Yeah, they needed a new Avengers movie. Yeah. And, the fact that it wasn't advertised as that, that's what I think is the best part about it, is that it wasn't advertised as a new Avengers movie, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
And they gave it to us. And they're going back to the roots of what made the MCU good. Like, I'm so much more excited for Fantastic Four now than I was before.
Yep, 100%. Before we get there, I want to backtrack to Valentina de Fontaine.
Not defense.
It's not just fence. I liked her character and how, like, quick and witty she was.
Yes.
Obviously, like we had mentioned, her evil plan, she's like, I don't want to get impeached. And I was, in the back of my mind, I was like, is that all you care about? Like, if you are truly somebody that works in the shadows and does underhanded, has an army and does underhanded experiments, impeachment is the last. Like, you wouldn't, like, if you truly have
that's
power.
That's not really.
Yeah, but she's like, I just don't want to get impeached. Do whatever you can to not get impeached. I was like, that's so generic. I think her character was kind of weird. So she was very witty and ahead of what's going on, but then at the same time, it's like she didn't know all the information that was going on within her organization. So it felt sometimes she knew everything and sometimes she didn't.
Like I said, my big criticism with her kind of being mustache twirly and goofy is, the Grandmaster from Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah.
Okay. If you replaced her with the Grandmaster, like, I feel like her answers wouldn't have been, her responses sometimes still wouldn't have been out of place. Like, he was such an outlandish character, just so out there. And then some of the responses that she gave were equally as outlandish and weird. Like you said, I don't want to get impeached, or just burn it down, and just like, I don't know. It felt very, very just.
Yeah, fair enough. And lastly, the Sentry.
The Sentry.
What did you think about the actor that played the Sentry?
I thought he did a really good job.
I thought he did a phenomenal job, because he is supposed to be so the Sentry does have actual mental issues.
Yes.
DID and schizophrenia and depression. So he's supposed to be very like he wants to be as small as possible. He doesn't want to he doesn't want to talk to people. So even his interactions, he's like, what do you want me to do? And he's trying to help, but then, like, when he helps, he messes up. Especially when the first time you see him, like, get riddled with bullets, he's like, I'm gonna distract them for my friends, and Yelena's like, oh no, Bob is helping. I was like, which is, again, a character to her. So he helped, but he was still kind of like being small of himself. I thought the actor played him really, really well. It was a great portrayal.
he was able to incorporate both a naiveness to the character and also a darkness. Like every time you could tell that like this guy that was somebody that was going through stuff. Like when he was talking to Yelena, he was just like, oh, just go on without me, just leave. And she even picked up on that, and she's just like, hey man, like dude, I get it. Like
there's a void inside you. I'm not gonna lie, when he said the void the first time, I clutched Linda, and Linda doesn't know the character. She's like, well, I don't really understand. I was like, you will. And when he switched over to the Sentry, when he had the full outfit and everything, which I think looked amazing. I was hoping it wasn't super cheesy, but it looked amazing.
And really comic book accurate.
Yeah. And then they switched to the Void, which I thought that outfit looked... I mean, obviously it was all CGI.
Yeah.
But still...
Dude, the tiny little glimmers in the eye, yeah.
Did you ever play Kingdom Hearts? Mm-mm. Oh. Linda goes, oh yeah, when he turned into a Heartless. That's his Heartless. I was like... So for anybody that's a Kingdom Hearts fan, there's Sentry, and then that's his Heartless.
Oh, well.
So, because the Heartless look exactly... They're just a shadow with yellow eyes. Literally, yeah.
Dude, it was... When he was, like, disappearing people into the void... Man, dude,
and the music, like, cut off immediately. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Something I didn't pick up on initially was when Yelena went to that lab at the beginning of the movie. If you look, because they showed her looking at like some type of medical room or whatever. There are two shadows in the background.
Because she said at the end, she's like, I've been here before.
Yeah.
I guess maybe, okay, I would have to rewatch the movie and see that scene again.
Yeah, but there are two shadows there. So, like, the Void he'd
already done his business.
So, I guess what I'm curious is the Void something that is just a part of Bob, or is it something that was brought about by the experiments?
I see what you mean. Okay, so it's like it was a part. Are you saying it was a part of him prior to the experiment?
Yeah.
Or because of the experiments? I think for the sake of this movie, I think it was because he had mental issues and drug addiction prior to him getting the experiments. I think because of that, it enhanced everything. So it gave Bob powers of the Sentry, but then it gave his his depression or also powers, I guess, in a way of like
depression. He got super depression.
So that is where the Void manifests itself in the sake of this movie, I guess. Which actually is a great point. But overall.
No, overall, I think this was a good change in pace for direction. Like it moved the MCU story along further into the next point, which it needed. It needed a sort of grounding point so you can be like, okay, what is going on in this world? I like the fact that they addressed Everett turning into the Hulk. And they kind of mentioned some of the other things that are going on, and you're starting to see a position moving forward, which is kind of
Ross turning into the Hulk.
Yeah,
not Everett.
Oh, Everett. Everett Ross was the CIA.
Yeah. Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah.
The president.
Yeah.
Well, the last president turned into a green monster. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Red monster. Man, we're both on it.
Yeah.
All right. 2 points, and that's my final thoughts. So here are my 2 final thoughts. When the Sentry completely wrecked the entire Thunderbolts, he's like, you don't want to do this. Like, it reminded me of Neo when he first gets his powers, and he's just like, he stops the bullets, and what did he do? He pushed Winter Soldier, caught him, punched him up, caught him again, threw him down, and broke his arm off, and then just like, all right, here you go. Oh my God. And then right after the scene, they take the elevator down, and they're like, and Yelena has her spiel, and I'm like, if I was in that situation, there is literally nothing you can do. 3 super soldiers and then 2 assassins. That man didn't even break a sweat. Like, oh, that scene was insane. Last point. Sorry. Last point. Where was Doctor Strange in all this?
Taking a nap.
That was my one issue that it did not make sense. Where was Doctor Strange in all this? Spider-Man makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where was Doctor Strange?
He took a nap. It was a very good nap. It was a very good nap.
So, anyways, final thoughts for you.
I mean, yeah, that's the classic. That's the classic complaint of these interconnected universe. Where the heck is everybody? Where's Daredevil? Where is it?
Bro, what is Daredevil gonna do? Throw a baton at him?
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
No. Final thoughts. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was going to be another one of those typical, MCU explosion fest and just kind of popcorn 80s action movie, which wouldn't have been so terrible. But I like the fact that it has some emotional gravitas. Like I said, like I was telling you before, this the moving forward from past traumas is like a very heavy topic.
Yeah.
And, the fact that they pretty much laid it out to where the team that defeated Sentry was ideally suited to not defeat him, but help him.
Yeah.
And so they were the perfect opposition for him. So I thought that was very well told throughout the story. And I like the post-credit scene with the Fantastic Four. Getting me super hyped for the Fantastic Four movie
via the Avengers.
Although I feel like it's a little bit of a spoiler because with them saying, "Oh, it's a cross-dimensional ship," because with the Fantastic Four movie,
it's supposed to be Elseworld.
Yeah, well, they hadn't really explained that. They didn't know, but now it's kind of like, oh, okay, so this is going on in a different reality, and they're gonna fail, and Galactus is gonna eat that reality for lunch. So,
yep.
So
I was not expecting the post credit scene with the Fantastic Four. Like when it said intergalactic, I was like, okay. I was expecting like Doom or like Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. I was not expecting Fantastic Four. So now it is truly going to be connected with All right.
So where would you say this lines up for you as far as like MCU movies?
Ooh, this movie definitely goes in like the top. I don't know if it would top 5 because like Endgame and Infinity War are fantastic to me. Avengers itself was actually one of my favorite movies.
I would put it in the top 15.
Top 10. I'll put it in the top 10. Yeah. I'll put it in the top 10. I don't think 15 is a lot, but I think top 10.
I mean, we're approaching like mid-30s territory as far as MCU movies. So
I would put it in my top 30s.
It's in the upper half.
Top 10 for me. So, anyways, that is our thoughts for the Thunderbolts. Let us know what you thought in the comments below.
And as always, don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And we will catch you next time with some more content.